Hi, my name is Sean Cowgill. Today, I'm doing a video all about being on pretrial, federal pretrial. I was on pretrial for 4 years before I finally got sentenced. Then I got a 52-month sentence to a federal prison camp in Florence, Colorado. And now I'm on probation. I got out about 10 months ago. I got about 2 years left on federal probation. It's been a long journey. I first got indicted 2012. My house got raided in 2011. I came up with these 5 stages that you're going to go through while you're on pretrial. Hopefully you don't have to do 4 years of pretrial like I did. Do me a favor and please hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. When you hit the subscribe button, the little bell comes up. If you hit the all button bell, it'll tell you about my new videos. I just did one the other day, my first day in prison. There's 2 parts to that at a federal prison camp. And if you're worried about what prison's like, if you're going to a camp or a low, you're going to make it through. Look, no tattoos on me. I'm not a hardcore bank robber gangster. And that's why I'm doing the videos for guys that are like us. No offense to the bank robber gangster guys, but I went to a camp. A lot of us go to white collar crimes, and we're scared to death to go to prison. And it all starts with getting indicted and going through pretrial. So first of all, I'm not that great at editing, so that's why, I'm holding up this. And when I learn how to put the little pictures up, I'm working off a cheap laptop and a tablet, so bear with me. So I want to Google what indictment means, okay? So let's start with that. What is indictment?
Here's the definition of indictment: a formal charge or accusation of a serious crime.
A formal charge or an accusation of a serious crime. And what indictment happens when you get indicted? There's a grand jury, and I think it's 23 people. Who's this grand jury? Let's find out. What is a grand jury?
Here's a summary from Wikipedia. A grand jury is a jury, a group of citizens, empowered by law to conduct legal proceedings and investigate potential criminal conduct.
So what I understand, you can Google more, of course. You've probably been Googling a lot about being on federal pretrial and worried about going to prison. I think it's 23 people that get picked by the prosecution, not by you, not by a lawyer, not a jury of your peers. Here's the thing, when you get indicted, they have a little kind of a trial. You're not invited. You don't get to come, you don't get to know about it, and you don't get to fight your case. They've already fought it for you. The prosecution doesn't even need to have evidence. They just got to convince the grand jury that you're worth going after and being thrown in prison. If you watch the news and all these high-profile guys that get indicted, once the feds got you, you're going to prison. You might get probation. It's highly doubtful. If you've got $500 million to spend on lawyers, you might get lucky. In my case, I used the court-appointed lawyer, public defender. When it comes to the feds, I'm telling you, save your $100 million. Use the court-appointed lawyer. There's not much of a difference at all. And if you ask around, you'll find that out. Some of these lawyers, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, give me $200,000 and I'll get you probation. Give me their name, okay? But I'm not here to give you legal advice, just tell you my experience. If you can afford a lawyer, by all means, go for it. So these 5 stages I've got, indictment. So what they are is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. The toughest one is that acceptance, because that's when you can actually change. That's when you can convince a judge and the prosecution to give you less of a sentence. But it takes a while to get there. So, I did wire fraud. I ended up with a 52-month sentence for wire fraud. Originally, I was looking at 11 to 13 years. That's what the first public defender told me. Later on, they offered you a plea deal, and I took a deal for 71 to 96 months. I got a 52-month sentence. I only did half that time in prison because there's an RDAP program. There's the First Step Act that's been passed by Trump, and there's a lot of programs you could take give you time off that you can trade in for halfway house time and home confinement, and those are other videos I want to do. I had a problem with drugs and alcohol before I got indicted, which helped me get to the RDAP program and get time off my sentence. If you're worried that the judge is going to find out you got an alcohol and drug problem, look, they know all about you by now. That grand jury's met and talked about you and you weren't invited. And if you're thinking, I don't want them to know I got an alcohol and drug problem, let them know. That's how you get in the RDAP program. That's how you get the year off and 6 months halfway house time. Look, they know everything about you. In their eyes, you're a scumbag. Okay? We need to convince them that you're not. Look, when I first got indicted, how dare they? I was in denial. So my thing was tax preparation fraud. So I filed taxes for a bunch of homeless, tweaker, drug addict guys. I got them all fat refunds. I lied on their tax forms. I took 20% of their refund, and I ended up going to prison. That's the short story of it. I just did a video about my first day in a federal prison camp. There's 2 videos on that. I want to do a whole bunch more, so I need you to hit that subscribe button so I can go live. If I get 1,000 subscribers, I can go live and do question and answer chats. And also, you might get $1 or $2 on the YouTube video ads, but you need 1,000 subscribers. I got a long way to go. I don't think I have 30 subscribers yet. But my goal is to help you go through this stress that you're going through. So when it comes to a feds, when you have a federal case, if you're a white-collar criminal or a non-violent, you could be a drug dealer. As long as you're non-violent, they usually let you out on a bond. And it's not a bond you have to post. Although in some cases, guys have told me they had to put up money. I had no money. The feds froze all my bank accounts and everything. Everything I had was gone. I was homeless by the time they indicted me. And that's another story. So I got out on a $50,000 bond that they let me sign for. They wanted a family member to sign, but my family wasn't talking to me, at least on my mom's side. My dad's side I hadn't talked to in years. Now they're in my life. And I call them every day, and I love them, and they helped me through this at the end. And I'll get to that. That didn't happen until I got to the acceptance part. So if you're like me, you're probably Googling and YouTubing, trying to find out what pretrial is like and what you could do to get off early. Can you get probation? Look, I was on it 4 years. My second and third year in, people are telling me, Sean, you're not going to go to prison. They don't let you walk around like they, oh man, you're doing good. You're going to get probation. They don't know. I'm going to court every few months, and they're delaying it because I got co-defendants and this and that. And they don't know. I'm going to prison. I know I'm going to prison. This is past the denial part. When you're still in denial, it's like I was legal. I didn't do anything wrong. If you're real estate, maybe you're a doctor prescribing opiates. Maybe you're a real estate, got a banker, a stockbroker, and they got you for a fraud case. And you think that you're Mr. Innocent, you did everything right, and how dare they? And I'll take it all the way to court. Look, they've already discussed this at your grand jury, at your indictment. Okay, they've already discussed all this. You need to get to the acceptance part, and it's tough and it's hard to admit that you did a crime that you're just so angry about. First it's denial, then you're angry that how dare they I'm taking it all the way to court. I'll show them I didn't do anything wrong. And when I was in these stages, so I had a girlfriend that left me. I had friends that just vanished. They were gone. The landlord evicted me. I was paying rent, renting a place. I got evicted. My cars broke down. I didn't have a car. Nobody would talk to me. And I was angry, and I was pushing everybody away anyways. My co-defendants I wasn't allowed to talk to. So I was in a lonely place. So then I got to the bargaining stage. And the bargaining stage is, well, maybe some of the stuff I did was wrong. I mean, it was a loophole, but maybe it was wrong. And, well, I guess maybe they are going to die. Maybe I will do some prison time. And in my case, I had a drug and alcohol problem. And I violated my my bond right away from the beginning. I was so angry and in denial, and I went out and got drunk and high, and I didn't pass the drug test. So they gave me a chance to go to a drug program called Newbridge in Berkeley, and that's a 6-month attack therapy behavior modification program. Then I did a year of aftercare with that program. And that program was intense and it was tough, and nobody cared where I came from, who I was. I was stripped of everything. You couldn't leave the program. You could leave one time to go out for a physical, and that's it. No phone calls, no newspapers, no nothing. You can make a phone call after you've been there a couple months, and when you make the phone call, it's on a speakerphone, and there's a counselor and other people around listening to it, and it's only 10 minutes. It was a really tough program. I got through it. There's a guy there who runs the program now. His name is Wojtek. At the time, he was my Fed counselor. That guy helped me so much. I talked to him this day, I think, but I had a long journey to go before I'd even admit that I had a problem with alcohol and drugs and it had anything to do with this crime. And so a couple of years go by, and I'm still on this pretrial. I'm going back and forth to court, and I'm living at a clean and sober living place. And I find out I get a plea deal for 71 to 96 months. And I leave the courthouse that day, and I went and got drunk, and I got high, and I violated again. And they caught you. They were testing me every week. They had a drug patch on me and everything. I violated again. And they gave me a chance, and they sent me to Project 90, and I did 90 days there. And I finally realized I got a problem. And I finally realized I am going to prison, and this thing's getting real, and it's getting scary. But along the way, I started to work those 12 steps of AA, and I started to take a look at myself, and I started to change just a little bit. And I got past the depression stage, because it was that depression that caused me to go out and drink and get high, and I'm going to prison, and the poor me, and nobody cares, and everybody's left me, and I got nothing to live for. I thought about committing suicide. I'd watch these videos on YouTube, but nothing was helping me. And there's these prison consultant guys that want $10,000, and I got no money. I'm going to tell you, I called a couple of them, a guy named Walt Pavlo. I had no money to pay him, and he really helped me through it. That guy put $100 on my books every month while I did my prison time. I still talk to him this day. RDAP Dan is another guy. I had no money, but he talked to me on the phone anyways. And he put some money on my books. He got some of his clients to pitch in, and they did a little pass the basket for me. And those two guys you could trust. The other prison consultants out there, I don't know. And they'll talk to you. You don't have to have any money. They'll at least talk to you, okay? And it's not, with me, I'm not trying to look, I'm just trying to make these videos to let you know what I went through, and that you're going to be okay, and that you're going to come out of this on the other side. And if you're a white-collar criminal like I was on pretrial and stuff, the chances are you're going to get 10 years or less. 10 years or less. Fuck that shit. I want probation. Look, I got 52 months. That's 4 years and 4 months. I did half-time. I did like 2 years in prison. And I had some fun and good times there too. Believe it or not, you're going to get through this. You don't have to join a gang. It's not racial. It's prison camp or low. It's probably where you're going. And you're going to make it through. When you come to terms and you can accept that you're going to go to prison and that you did the crime and that, yeah, you're a scumbag and maybe you are an actual asshole and maybe you have been all your life, and I'm not saying you're a bad person, you've always been a bad person, but something caused you to start scheming and scamming and doing whatever this is that you did that you knew was wrong. You knew it was wrong. You made those choices, but you decided to look the other way. You took the money, and that money changed you, and you kept doing it. And that's a hard thing to admit. Once you commit that, you can start changing. And when you change, guess what? You get to convince the judge and the prosecution and your public defender and your friends and your family that there's hope for you. And if you could change... In my case, it judged, instead of 96 months, I got 52 months. But here's what I had to do. Okay, so I went to a lot of AA meetings. I also volunteered for AA at the central office. About 20 hours a week. I answered their phones. I put the schedules together. I helped out with anything they wanted me to do out there. I stayed in a clean and sober living houses while I was on the pretrial. I was in 3 different ones because I relapsed in the first 2, and the last one I went to wanted to open up a little residential program. They needed a cook. I volunteered. So they made an exchange. I cooked 40, 50 hours a week, exchange for a bed, which is a little bunk bed in a side room and board. I could have got a job anywhere and made money and saved up to go to prison, but I was trying to work on myself. So they had a little drug program for 30, 40 people, and I cooked them 3 meals a day. I trained a guy to kind of be a helper so I could get a little time off. And so I'm a chef by trade. Been in the restaurant business before. I did the tax preparation fraud. And so for about a year, I cooked for this program. I also started changing on the inside. I worked these 12 steps that AA has to offer. I also fed the homeless every Friday night. I got hooked up with a group of guys, and we had a van, and we packed it up with bagged lunches and blankets and jackets and socks, and we'd go out to the homeless tents. We went and found the tent cities, and we just handed this out. We did it 3 or 4 hours every Friday night. All this is documented. All this was told to the judge, my public defender. I had 3 guys that worked at the sober living places, and an AA guy all show up at my sentencing and tell the judge everything I'd done. I had letters that family and friends wrote. I was able to call my dad's side of the family, reconnect with them. I was able to visit with my father before he died, because he died while I was in prison. But I was able to reconnect with him, and we had a real bad relationship. It's full of alcohol and violence and with my father. But I was able to see past that, forgive him, forgive myself. And today I have my cousins and my aunt and that side of my dad's family in my life. They wrote me letters all the time in prison. I wrote them. I call them all the time now. You know, if it wasn't for this pandemic, I'd go visit them on the holidays. But it's funny, I finally get out of prison and the whole world's all locked down. Right now, I got a job when I got out cooking for another drug program in San Francisco, a big program. But they closed it down with the pandemic, and I'm getting unemployment. I'm still living in a clean and sober living place. I'm trying to make these videos and help people. So my message is, when I got to court on sentencing day, the judge told me I was complicated. And she read my letters. She heard these guys that showed up. She saw all the stuff I was doing to change myself. She told me, Sean, you've shown me that you can change, and you haven't even been sentenced to prison yet. So that tells me that some guys do all this and they're faking it because they want a shorter sentence. But the thing is, you actually went and did the actions. Regardless, even if you are faking, you're doing a good job faking. But I could tell by these people that came here and talked to me that you're not faking. It shows me there's hope for you. You can change now, you can change later, and you could change for the rest of your life. So I'm not going to give you the 96 months. She cut it in half and gave me 52 months. Took my category 4, moved it to a category 1, and gave me the low end of that. So, for all that work that I did on myself, it paid off. I didn't do it just for the judge. The answer is yes, I did it because I didn't want to go to prison, but I kept doing it because it was changing me on the inside. Each day I do much of the same thing, and I'm going to my AA meetings. I'm trying to help people like you. I got people in my community. I live in the sober house. I talk to guys here. Whatever I can do to stay on this road of change and this road of hope. So please try to watch my other videos. Hit the subscribe button and give me a comment. I'll write you back. We could talk on the phone. I want to walk you through this. You're going to get through this, okay? You're going to get through this. Just remember those 5 steps. It's the same as when somebody dies. You got denial, you got anger, you got bargaining, you got depression. And when you can get to acceptance, you're going to make it through this.